Okay, everybody. Well, welcome to the retargeting webinar. I've named it Retargeting 101, but it actually is going to get a little bit more advanced than 101 here. But I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. What we're going to cover is going to be, from a tactical perspective of implementation, is really only going to be in 4 steps. But I want to give you a little bit of background on how this whole thing works, just so you know. So we're going to talk about kind of the overview slash usage, major benefits, how to create the banners, and then how to set it up on landing pages and or websites like WordPress. So, I mean, fundamentally how it works is when a visitor comes to your website, they either go to well, they're either going to come from paid traffic to a landing page, most likely. If you attended the workshop, that's the scenario you're in. You know, we buy Facebook traffic and send them a landing page. Or maybe they just happen across your website because they know who you are, they like you, they've heard of you, or there's some SEO happening. Maybe you're sending out postcards, whatever the case may be. When people visit any web property that you own, this gives you an opportunity to retarget them. And so what that means is after they leave your website and they go to some place like the New York Times or whatever, you now have ability to show them banners with your face, your product, whatever you want on there. And so as an example, this is the New York Times. Normally they would see, this, I think it's some sort of investment company's ads on the top and on the side over there. Well, with retargeting, this allows you to replace those with your own stuff because they've been to your website before and they've expressed some sort of interest. Excuse me for a second. Whoops. My So they go to your website, or they go to the NewYorkTimes.com, and then those places on the site get replaced with your banner advertisements. In this case, I kind of used some banners that we created for the Arizona Marketing Association and Chuck Troutman when we were promoting the event in January. So it really doesn't matter what the banners are. I mean, you can make them anything you like, and then later on we'll walk through how to create some. So the three main steps, the way you get started right away is a couple things. First, it's kind of pointless to do retargeting if you don't have banner ads. That's kind of the way it works. Um, then you need to create a retargeting account. So the people that put the ads onto those websites, companies like Google and Perfect Audience, they're buying the opportunity, the option to create ads and put them up there, and it costs them money. They're kind of the broker who places your ad up there, and then you bid on putting them up in place of other ads. So you need to create an account with one of those providers, and then you need to upload your banners that you create to the provider. Then you need to install the code on your website or your landing page so that when they do visit the your website, that they get followed around with your banners that you then created. I'll go through some more examples that and some actual live step-by-step stuff here to help reinforce that. So some of the things you need to think about when you do retarget someone, so let's just say they went to your site and then they're going to see your banners, is where do you want to send them? Um, you know, just because they've been to your site or they've been to your landing page, that does not necessarily mean that when they see your banner, they're going to like it if you send them to the exact same page, right? So you need to decide, are you going to send them to a brand new offer or a brand new landing page? Are you going to send them to the exact same landing page, or are you going to send them to your home page? Some of those decisions can be easily made just based upon knowing where they came from and knowing where they went. So if you're buying traffic on Facebook and you're sending them to an offer and they left and didn't take that offer, then you probably don't want to send them back to the same spot. Maybe you want to send them to the same offer but a different variation of it, different landing page, discount, whatever. You also kind of need to decide how long you want to chase them around the internet. Most people will say 30 to 60 days. You don't really want to chase them around forever, but you can create a list that keeps them kind of in the background and available for you forever. But that list is, or segment as some people refer to it, is probably something you want to limit the marketing to, most likely you're going to do some form of branding. So if you're a politician, then you'd show your smiling face on a banner ad, and maybe only show it to them, once a week for the rest of their life or something. Um, You also need to think about what the banners will say and what they'll look like. Ideally, they need to have something that is recognizable, so branding or the offer. So if you sent them to buy running shoes from your Facebook ad or your other source of traffic, and then they leave, it's probably a good idea to show those same running shoes as well as your company's logo or your face or whatever. In my case, since I've kind of in the expert marketing, I'm positioning myself as a guru or whatever, an expert, a celebrity, I would put my face as the form of branding, and then probably some sort of color scheme that matches my site or anything else that I deal with, so that it kind of is recognizable on the web. Now, to create banners, it's not terribly complicated if you outsource it. Um, you can go to Odesk, Elance, or Fiverr.com, any one of those three, and get banners created by graphic design folks. You can also buy software. There's free software available. In fact, all you have to do is search the web for how to create banners. Later in this presentation, I'll give you access to the tool that we've created for this, and I'll even walk you through and show you how I use that tool to create banners and some of the advantages it brings. And the reason we created that tool is because, having banners created creates some specific challenges. One of those is anytime you have to make a change or an update. So, what happens if your logo changes, or what happens if, you want to create 3 different variations of the same banners to test what people are responding to? Do you want to have different banners for each page or each offer that you're going to present? It's particularly challenging if you're selling over 400 different types of shoes or something. For us, it's a little bit simpler because we're probably not dealing with e-commerce, but those things still need to be thought about. At a minimum, I would say really all you need to do is create a set of branding banners, and then use those as kind of your default starting point, and then move on from there. If you do that, you'll be doing more than most. So I'm going to demo our new banner creation tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a set of banners that we'll then use later on in this presentation, kind of a live workshop style, where I'm going to create the banners on this tool and then export them and then upload them to a retargeting platform. I'm going to go through the entire process for you. So I don't want you to go to this URL that I'm about to give you right now, but you might want to write it down. I can even put it back up here later. But for you to get access, you need to go to morecustomersfaster.com/studio and sign up for an account. Now, the account is, you got to keep in mind, this is beta. And when you create banners in here, um, it's all fine and good, and you don't have to pay for them until you export them. And it will cost you pennies to export if you use your own pictures. If you use stock photography, which we make available right in the tool, and I'll show you, then you'll have to pay for the stock photography, and then it charges you based on that. So it's kind of a credit-driven system, kind of like iStock Photo or something. But it has a huge number of advantages that I'll go through. So real quick, let me just create some banners that we'll then use later on in this process. And again, you don't have to use this tool that I'm showing you, but um, this is a banner set I created for the Arizona Marketing Association and Chuck Troutman. Now, to create a set of banners like this when you're dealing with an outsourcer or someone at Fiverr or whatever, to make any sort of a change, it requires a lot of back and forth email. And in my own experience, for high-end graphic designers, it can take weeks of back and forth to get things done. Now, one of the things that we've done with this tool is we've made it so that you edit one, it kind of edits all. Let me change this to list view here. So you have a list view and a grid view. That's kind of a new thing that the developer just showed me. And then right here, if you select this is edit all the images or edit one. That's probably the biggest thing, that advantage that this tool has, is that you can literally bulk change and bulk create stuff. So if I wanted to change this picture of Chuck, then I could do that. So like in this case, I have everything selected. I put sales and marketing, so I could put change and to the ampersand, and then you'll see that it's not only is it changed on there, but it changes on all the other banners at the same time. So I don't want to do that though. Whoops. And then you can also go in here and just pick certain sizes or all sizes or whatever you want. So anyway, that's how you do it. Then you just export them. But in the tool itself, you actually have a ton of pre-made formats that you can choose from. And in my case, I think I used, where did it go? For Chuck's, I was trying to get something that was really loud and obnoxious so that when people saw it, they would click on it. I mean, that's kind of the game with banner ads. There's so many templates on here, it's ridiculous. But basically, oh, here it is. So when you pick one, you can just say, new project from that selected set. So when you create your account, you can pick any one of these, and then it'll create a new project. It'll show up in your projects list. We also have the social branding and then social media ads that you can mess with as well. So if you want to edit it, once you've created the project, you just hit edit selected, and it's going to bring all that up in a format really just a lot like this. And then when you're finished, all you need to do is hit export, and then it will export all these ads to your desktop or your folder or whatever. It's running a little slow, but I think that's because of GoToWebinar. So the good news is that I've actually already exported these things. So here it goes. So if you want to export all of them, you hit select all, hit next. If you want JPEG or PNG, hit next, and then hit finish, and it's gonna create a little link, a download link that you can pull the files down with, and it's going to be in a zip file. So yeah, I can't connect to the database, I think, because I've got GoToWebinar running. But one of the things that you'll want to do, because you're going to deal with a basic template like this, is you're probably going to want to have your own images in here. So one of the things that I said, was a great feature is this ability to edit all of them at once. So if I double click on this now, I can actually search stock photography, or I can upload my own picture, and it will replace all of them. So if I search for one like, business woman, then it's going to bring up a bunch of different pictures. So I could just pick this one here. It tells me it's going to be 3 credits. You can edit it if you want. In this case, I'm just going to save it because I want to. And then I'm just going to say zooming, which means if I do zooming, it's going to try and make sure that her face is always in the picture. So see how it did there? And so now she's in all of them. Oops. Of course, my Chrome browser is dying on me. But all of them. Anyway, that's how it goes. So once those ads are created, and again, you can go to morecustomersfaster.com/studio to have access to the same thing. Once all those ads are created, I'm going to export them. I already exported them, so I didn't want to show you that process first of all, because GoToWebinar kind of slows down everything I do, and it would just take too long. But I'll show you what happens once it's exported. The next thing you need to do is create a retargeting account. Both AdRoll and Perfect Audience allow you to set up an account and even give you advertising credits for free. If you go to Google AdWords, which is adwords.google.com, in some cases they'll give you free stuff, but it's a little more complicated to set up, in my opinion, and it is not as intuitive either. So what I would recommend doing is starting with AdRoll, and then once you get comfortable with AdRoll, you can mess with Perfect Audience. The challenge with Perfect Audience is that they require you to have 1,000 visitors to your website before you can use their tool. AdRoll doesn't have any minimum whatsoever. So that does not stop you from setting up accounts on both and getting the code, which we'll talk about in a minute. The one on the right here is perfect audience. The one on the left is ad roll. You can see it looks kind of like Google Analytics if you've ever seen that. It's kind of tracking all the visitors on a site. You can track each of your websites separately. You can put this on your lead pages site, which I'll show you how to do here in a moment. When you set up your accounts, it's basically going to ask you for address, phone number, etc. Then it's going to give you something called a tracking pixel, or in this case, I think it's AdRoll calls it a smart pixel. It's really just a bunch of code, so it looks like a bunch of gibberish. All you have to do is copy that code or email it to yourself, and then add that code to whatever page you want to retarget people from. So I'm actually going to go and show you how to do this. But in the case of like the lead generation pages site, what it looks like is something like this. So you bring up the template that you're using, and then there's a little thing off here to the side for tracking code. When you click on that, it pops up a window. I didn't pop up the window here. It pops up a window that allows you to add it like this. There we go. So when you click it, then it says head tracking code, end of body tracking code. Now, when I talk to a layperson about this stuff, to them, this is very confusing and they don't know whether they should put it in the top or the bottom or what. And so I'm going to explain it in very simple terms of where it goes and why it's called head and body. And really, all you have to do, bottom line, is cut and paste it into one of these boxes. So, what we're going to talk about right now is which box should you put it in. And the basic layout of a website is, kind of follows a person. They call it head and body, and footer is really the basic layout of every website. So, there's a top, a bottom, and a middle, for lack of a better description. And in the code, you see to the right there, it has the head and then the slash head, and then the body, and then the slash body, and the footer, and the slash footer. The little slash part in here, that is what's telling you that it's the end of that section. So the little slash is what tells the computer that we're done with the body and we're ready to start the footer, or at the head section, we're done with the head and ready to start the body. This is only important to you so that you know what they're talking about when they say put it in the head, put it in the body. They're just telling you where to place the code. Where it's placed isn't super critical. What really matters in terms of it being in there is just that it's there. Because when a web browser loads this stuff, it loads it top to bottom. It loads it from head to foot, basically. And so um, this kind of directly tracks in line with what I showed you a minute ago in the lead pages area. So you just basically put the code in one of those two sections, and anytime you're dealing with retargeting code from a provider, they will tell you where to put it. So you'll notice the head is the top one and the body is the next one down. And when you look at the code I think this is from AtRoll, it says right here, place this code before the slash body, which means, put it before the end of the body. And what lead pages says is this is end of body tag tracking code section. So what that means is we copy this code and stick it in that little box that says end of body. And really, there's nothing that you can break when you're doing this stuff. All that's going to happen is either the retargeting is going to work or it's not going to work. And sometimes it's just a matter of trial and error. And if you really get stuck, believe me, these retargeting companies are more than happy to help you, because they know that if they get you to put the code on your website or your landing page or whatever, that you're going to spend money with them eventually, even though they give you free credits to advertise with, because that's just money for them, right? So if you call them or email them or whatever, they're going to be excited about helping you get it installed if you can't figure it out on your own. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. But what I'm going to do now is walk you through the live demo, and then we're pretty much done with the training. So let me do this. Let me actually do this with you watching, and hopefully nothing breaks like it did a minute ago. If I can find my window that I was working on. Here it is. Okay, so I told you I already exported this stuff. So on lead pages, this is, this is the thing I was showing you before where you need to put the tracking code in the body, right? So if you're in your lead pages account, really all you need to do is find whatever page you're going to use. Now, in the case of lead pages, it's kind of a pain in some ways because you have to put that code on every single one of these pages that you plan to do retargeting for. So let me see. I had, I think it was the cheat sheet one. So if I hit edit on that, it's going to load it back up for me. Oh, it's not this one. It's a different one. Doesn't matter. Same difference. So we still have the head and the body area. Now in your ad roll account or whatever account that you're dealing with, I'm going to cancel this because I want to show you. It says you need to set up your smart pixel. So if I click on this, this is where that fancy code shows up. If I just click copy, it says, hey, you've copied it. I go to my lead pages into the body section here. I right click and hit paste. That's it. The code is now installed. And usually it'll have some sort of verbiage. See, it says right there, ad roll. It's really tiny, but it says ad roll. It does the same thing. If you get this same code from Google, it usually says Google. If you get it from Perfect Audience, it'll say it at the top. The rest of this is just computer language that you can ignore. Then you just hit OK. And then it says you have unsaved changes, then you need to make sure you save it. Otherwise, it's not going to really do you much good. So once that's installed, anyone who visits this page, I can now chase them down using AdRoll. Okay. Now AdRoll will actually tell me, hey, this isn't working. So if you've installed it and you think it's working and it's not, they'll tell you whether it's working or not. It does usually take a little while. So once you install it, it could take 4 hours or so for it to work. If you want, you can just get the code, put it on your landing page, check on it tomorrow. If it's not there, then you need to open a ticket with them or something. So the very next thing you need to do with AdRoll is to create a campaign. Now with AdRoll, you have the choice of retargeting into Facebook. So you can do ads in Facebook on news feeds or on the right-hand side. You see how they've got the little blue boxes here? Well, we can create Facebook ads. Let me reload this page. Using the iMarketing Studio. So here's some basic social ads. So you can, use one of these and build your Facebook ads. But for the purposes of this demo, I just wanted to use the banners and show you that process. In fact, and the banners are going to have a greater reach, but ultimately you want to do all of these things for your campaign. So in this case, I'm going to hit retargeting on the web. I'm going to give it a name. I'm just going to name it my website. And then branding. So this might be the one that I use for general. The minimum budget is $25 per week. Okay. And then here's where you can say specific start and end date. In this case, we're going to say forever. Now, you also want to specify, do I want people in the United States to see my ads or worldwide? Or if I'm just in Arizona, maybe I only want to do Arizona. And it's going to say, where do you want to do regions, Arizona, United States? Done. Okay. Um, in this case, I probably would just do the United States and then hit next step. And then it says add segments. So these are the people who visited your website, right? So you can create a new segment, which means that you can say, remember what I was saying about how long do you want to advertise to these people? So target these visitors during this period. So I can say, well, I only really want to target the guys that go to my website for 30 days or 180 days or whatever the case may be. You can also do a URL pattern. So you could do like slash landing page or whatever the case may be, right? So in the case of our lead pages, if we only wanted to target these guys, then I would need to use this particular landing page. So if I was creating a campaign that was only targeting the people that went to that landing page, I just click the add segments, create new. I put the URL pattern in there, right? And then I would call it, Robert lead generation. Names can only be what? Okay, so lead generation. I don't think I want spaces. Cheat sheet. might be what I call a campaign. And then I say, okay, I'm only going to follow these guys for 6 days. Now, if this was on your sales, like on your thank you page, then you can count it as a conversion, and they'll actually tell you if somebody hits this page and the code fires, that means you want to count it as a conversion. So you could even create a separate segment for your thank you page, like slash thank you, and you could show completely different set of banners to the people who opted into your funnel and hit the thank you page. Or you can just, leave it blank, or I'm sorry, go like this and do root, slash everything, and whatever the case may be. So I'm just going to put this in there. Let me put the slash, and then let's just say I'm going to follow these guys for 90 days. I'm not counting this as a conversion. I'm going to save that. So now I have this new segment, and then I'm going to hit next. So, I mean, if you didn't notice it, the other thing you can do when you're creating your campaign, not only can I create a campaign for a certain place that they land on my website, but I could also say, I only want to target people in the US that land on this page, right? So you can do combinations of both things. So now this is the part that we already did, which is, going into a tool like this or going on Odesk and getting someone to create our banner, our artwork. And so now I need to actually add that stuff here. So now I need to upload it and then choose files. And then I need to remember where I put this. I think it's in Dropbox. Here they are. I think I can select all of them. Here we go. And then it just uploads every single one of them. So these are all the ads that I created. And these are the different sizes. The ad sizes that are created with the iMarketing Studio tool are specific to this. And I'll say, Mike, I see your questions. I'll get to your questions here in a minute. Let me just go through this process. So when you create an ad set, you're going to want to put your destination URL. Remember what I was saying earlier in the presentation, that you need to think about, we're assuming that these people have already seen something. Are you going to send them back to your homepage if they already went to your homepage? Probably not. So let's just say I put the retargeting pixel on robertstanley.com. I'm not going to send them back to my homepage when they've already been there. I'll probably send them to robertstanley.com/offer offer one or something, right? So I would just need to copy that and then paste it to all of these different images. So each one of those images, I can even have each one of these images go to somewhere completely separate, but you're probably not going to do that. So now I hit upload. Now it's going to upload all the images. Boom. Now they're all there. Okay. Now the next step is to enter a payment method, of course. And then once you enter your payment method, I think they give you, in my case, I might have already spent the money, I don't know. But they give you some amount of credits for free. And then after you go through your free credits, you have to use you have to pay, basically. So I'm not going to go through that because I don't want to waste a bunch of time putting in a credit card number. But now basically the campaign is live. Once you put your credit card number and hit launch, anyone who comes to this page and then leaves, well, actually, anybody who comes to this page, period, even if they hit the free instant access button and give me their name, they're now going to see whatever ads show up in here. Now, there are advanced strategies you can use where if they come to this page, they get added to your retargeting platform. But if they enter their information and do the free instant access thing and they put their email in here, now they go to the thank you page. Well, they get added to a whole new campaign, and you can actually write rules inside of the ad platform and say, okay, they said they reached my thank you page. I don't want to show them these banners. I want to show them a completely different set of banners. Or I don't want to show them any banners. I just want to say that it's a conversion. I don't know if you recall this process right here where we could actually, tell it if it was a conversion or not. So really that's it. Getting back to the slide, I'll just bring that up to kind of reinforce the message here is, you need to create your banners, then you need to create your retargeting account, then you need to upload your banners, and then you need to install the code on your site. Um, you can do those in different orders, right? Like I actually installed the code on my site close to the first step rather than towards the end. Um, Probably a better thing to do if you want to start, if you're not actually going to run ads right away, is to do number 2 and number 4, which is go create an account, get that smart pixel thing, put it on your pages, and just start collecting people. Because here's what you need to know about retargeting is that when they get added to a retargeting list, they are a marketable person. You can now chase them around. So um, let's see. I don't have too many people here. So Mike, I think I can unmute you and then you can ask me whatever you want to ask me. Let me see here. I'm going to unmute you, Mike, so you can ask your question. Say you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. Well, the first thing I was saying was don't blame Citrix, dude.
Yeah, I don't know if I can blame Citrix or just how much bandwidth it needs, but it seems like if I try to run any other internet-based things, it tends to blow them up when Citrix is rolling, especially if I'm the presenter, not so much if
Yeah.
I'm an attendee.
No, it's cool. Robert, this is exciting, exciting stuff. And you mentioned ad roll and perfect audience. And my question is, can I do CPM or is it CPC or a combination or what do
Good
you
que
recommend there?
Good question. So first of all, to clarify, so for people that don't know the difference, CPM is cost per impression, basically cost per thousand. So for every thousand visitors or views of your ad, you bid a certain amount. So a CPM price of $1 would mean for every dollar you bid, you're going to get 1,000 views of your ad, right? A cost per click would be I only want to pay if they click. I don't care how many people see it. I only want to pay if they click on the ad, or CPC is that's called. So in this case, because you're kind of bidding on unused space, they only accept CPM. So you have to set your bid price on a per thousand impressions basis. But who cares? Because the bottom line is the person that you're advertising to has already seen your stuff. And so it's a highly targeted ad. It's not like buying banner ads on MSN.com and showing them to people that don't even know who you are or don't know your product, right? These are people that have already been to your site or to your landing page and have some idea of who you are, what you're about, and you really have a much higher percentage chance of them converting later. In fact, I didn't share any stats on specific retargeting campaigns, but on Google, they do something that's called view through conversions, which mean if you run Google Analytics on your website and you also use Google retargeting, they can actually tell you, yeah, they didn't click on your banner ad, but they saw your banner ad like 2 months later. Then they came back to your site and then they filled out your web form or they bought your widget. And that's called a view through conversion.
No,
And they,
that's absolutely cool, dude. And this whole idea of retargeting is incredible to me. The other question I asked is, you were showing that
the tool.
you can actually change if they if
Oh,
they if
yeah.
they if they click and enter their email,
Hmm.
then they don't have to get all of these banners saying, "Why didn't you click? Why didn't you enter your email?" The fact that you can change the behavior based on what they do is incredible.
Yeah, it's huge. It's tremendous, but you have to be careful with that, Mike, because there's this whole progress, not perfection thing. So one of the things that you can end up doing to yourself is thinking of all these variables and then trying to plan for them all, and then actually never getting anything implemented.
Oh,
So
you know me.
yeah, well, that's it's not just you, it's everybody. So one of the things that I recommend you do to start with is just throw up the code and get some banners out there. But yeah, you can absolutely throw up another set of code that says if they sign up for my thing, don't show them the banners anymore, or if they sign up for my thing, show them a completely different set of banners. And AdRoll calls them segments. Google calls them tags. They all have different names for them, but basically they're just a way of kind of slicing and dicing those visitors and then showing them banners or not showing them banners based on their activity.
And then what are the rules in using the tool in your back office?
Oh, the banner ad maker?
Yeah.
There's no rules really. I mean, it's a credit driven system, so I think you will have to buy some credits. They're relatively cheap. We might have given some to you guys in particular because this is my beta group. I'll have to check because I didn't really. It was hard enough just to get the developer to get it ready
And
for
is
external
it the
use.
same tool that I asked about in my earlier
It's
question?
a
Because I
yeah, it's a very. I mean, it's a very. Just to answer the question, yes and no. It's based on the same concept, but the code was rewritten from the ground up. It's about a year and a half worth of development is what you're looking at so far. Um,
awesome. Well,
it's HTML5 driven, et cetera, et cetera.
I will just close it out by saying, Robert, I love this. I love all the value you give, and thank you very much.
I appreciate it, Mike. And I'm gonna. This is recorded, so I'm gonna end it here actually, and then I have to process this, and then I'll put it up into the members area. So thanks for making it, dude, and we'll chat you on the Facebook group if not on the phone.
Absolutely.
Cool. Talk to you.